What's up guys, Action here. So here's another gaming monitor na re-reviewin natin, which is the MSI MAG 274UPF Gaming Monitor. 4K resolution, 144Hz with rapid IPS panel, HDR 400 as well as 1 millisecond great-to-great response time, and built-in KVM. Ilan lang yan sa mga features nito. Sulit nga ba ito? Let's find out in this review. First of all, what's inside the box? Here we have some power cords, an HDMI 2.1 cable, USB Type-B, as well as some paperwork. The MSI MAG 274UPF is a 27-inch 4K ultra high-definition resolution gaming monitor equipped with a rapid IPS type panel with 144Hz refresh rate. So according to MSI, rapid IPS is like the usual IPS panels, but with much faster response times. Thus, they claim na 1 millisecond ang response time nito, which is not common or possible with traditional IPS panel. This is a flat panel. The viewing angle is also great, around 178 degrees, which is what would you expect with an IPS type panel. Walang drastic color shifts. Blacks aren't really pure deep blacks unlike OLED panels. As you can see here, makikita nyo pa rin yung backlighting niya, which is expected with these types of panels. It also has support for adapted sync technologies. Both the FreeSync Premium and G-Sync technologies are compatible dito, which helps avoid screen tearing on games and applications by supporting dynamic refresh rates. Meron din itong support for 10-bit color, although 8-bit plus FRC lang ito, as well as HDR10, since VESA Display HDR 400 certified ito. On our testing, this monitor has got its color gamut pretty well, with a high percentage of accuracy on the DCI-P3 at 98%, sRGB 100%, and Adobe RGB color spaces at 94%. So for those who are looking to do some basic color work with this monitor, okay siya. Sa HDR naman, you can somehow see the difference when going on between SDR and HDR picture formats. So kung trip nyo manood ng contents in HDR, at least dito makikita nyo kahit papano yung difference. On its brightness, nag-peak siya at around 468 nits. So pasado siya for the HDR 400 spec. Sa design niya, simple lang siya in my opinion. Walang RGB lights or anything striking to the eyes that can attract unnecessary attention. Very thin bezels on almost all sides except sa baba where the MSI logo sits in the middle. Matte finish on the surface so hindi ito fingerprint magnet. At the back, there's the MSI Dragon logo, as well as some ventilation ports and the red joystick button which houses both the power button and the OSD controls. Yung stand, I like it since it's very stable with the monitor mounted, although it's more plastic than metal. There's this brush finish across the stand that connects to the monitor, along with a cable pass-through hole. Madali kabit yung stand and all the important ergonomic adjustments are covered. Swivel, tilt, height, and even rotation are all possible in order to get the perfect viewing angle. VESA compatible din ito, so if you want to either wall mount it or use a monitor arm, pwedeng-pwede. For connections, we have two HDMI 2.1, one DisplayPort 1.4, one USB Type-C with DisplayPort compatibility, as well as 65W PD charging, one USB Type-B for connection to the computer, so dalawang USB 2.0 Type-A ports, DC power in jack, and one 3.5mm jack pass-through for headphones. Other features of the MSI MAG 274UPF are mostly baked in on the OSD settings, gaya ng game assistance, features such as Smart Crosshair na may 6 na types, Optic Scope which is a zoom or magnification feature, parang scope nga ng barel, and may different sizes and ratio. So kahit hindi mo na gamitin yung scope ng sniper, pwede mo nang barilin ang kalaban accurately. Night Vision which will illuminate dark areas in the game. May AI mode din ito, which I think is the best out of the 4 modes available. Since the monitor will do the processing of image, so medyo advantage ito pag naglalaro ka. Meron din itong picture-in-picture and picture-by-picture function. Built-in KVM function, which can utilize 2 input sources and control them using one keyboard and mouse. Firmware update through USB, and support for MSI's new Gaming Intelligence app, where you can control and change almost all the monitor's parameters and utilize some features and tools gaya ng split windows and magnifier at iba pa. In terms of ghosting, may visible blur trail siya, especially when on the normal and very fast response time settings. Although I think for most game use cases, hindi ito ganun ka-visible, so it will not really disturb the experience. However, when set on fast, na-reduce yung trailing or ghosting nito. And pag tinurn on mo naman yung MPRT mode ng monitor, didilim yung brightness ng screen pero mare-reduce din nito yung ghosting. So I'd recommend against using it and instead set the response time on the fast mode if you want the best performance. Sa latency naman or the input lag, which is the time between the user input or click then to the display. We've tested this using the open source latency testing tool, and we've got an average of 3.2 millisecond for the on-display lag. Mababa na yun kung tutuusin, lalo na kung FPS gamer ka. Even if we factor all the others here in this graph, like the polling delay and the render time, we'll only have an average of 4.8 milliseconds. For the power consumption naman, natest ko siya at 100% brightness, nag-peak lang siya at around 43 watts. So medyo tipid sa kuryente ito. Before I wrap this up, if you decide to buy this monitor until October 27, 2023, you can also get the new Assassin's Creed Mirage for free. So sinubukan ko din siya laruin dito sa monitor na to. And grabe, sobrang ganda ng graphics ng Assassin's Creed Mirage. Ang ganda din ng rendering ng details nito on this display. Halos kitang-kita mo talaga yung mga hibla ng mga damo at halaman. Pati na nga rin yung mga buhok ng mga character. Kung hilig nyo yung mga ganitong klase ng laro na may mga mission, quests, stories, and narrative-driven, especially with this game setup in Baghdad. It's either mag-enjoy kayo maglaro or kakatingin ng mga details sa laro dahil sa quality ng visuals nito. The game, by the way, is set 9 centuries after the AC Origins era and revolves around the story of Sigurd and Eivor, both of which are Viking warriors na naghahanap ng lugar para sa kanilang clan. Then as the character, Basim, go along the way na nag-investigate sila ng mysteries from an ancient or extinct civilization. I think interesting yung narrative nito. So if you're into Assassin's Creed franchise, definitely you should check this one out. Sinet ko nga din pala to ultra settings yung game during testing. And ito yung system requirements niya. In my opinion, the MSI MAG 274UPF is a good gaming monitor, especially if you want a small one with a high-resolution panel since this is only 27 inches. With this being 4K ultra high-definition resolution, syempre mas maganda ang details ng mga games na lalaroin dito or mga contents na papanoorin, especially if you'll view them in native 4K. Kumbaga, very crisp and sharp ang detail compared to let's say 1080p or even 1440p. However, gaming on 4K actually requires more PC horsepower. So kailangan meron ka ding GPU and CPU na kaya mag-handle nito. Otherwise, you'll just waste the potential and not get the best experience this monitor can give. I think this is best for gaming, particularly on esports titles with its claimed 1 millisecond response time. Pero solid din paglaruan ng mga AAA titles, especially ones with excellent graphics gaya nitong Assassin's Creed Mirage, and even games like Spider-Man Remastered, Cyberpunk 2077, F122, and CS2. Panalo din yung game assist features, especially the optic scope, malaking tulong yon sa FPS games. Aside from gaming, I think this is also great for content creators with its wide color gamut coverage and syempre being 4K resolution. There are a lot more pixels to work with. For the cons naman, I think there's nothing really bad about the monitor itself. Aside from the fact na wala itong built-in speakers. I think most of us di na rin naman ito gagamitin and instead would use better ones. And yung MPRT mode, yes, it will reduce ghosting and motion blur off the panel pero masasacrifice yung brightness ng screen dahil magdidim ito pag naka-enable yon. Price-wise, the MSI MAG 274UPF is priced around 34,995. Technically, at first, mukha siyang pricey for a 27-inch monitor. Pero remember, what we're getting here is a 4K ultra high-definition resolution with 144Hz refresh rate, rapid IPS type panel with HDR 400 certification, built-in KVM feature, as well as good color gamut coverage.